Have you ever wondered why some people walk into a room and instantly command respect, while others, no matter how talented, remain unnoticed? Today, we're uncovering the hidden system behind presence. The invisible framework that presents is not an accident. It is not something stumbled upon in fleeting moments of confidence or charisma. Presence is built. The most powerful among us know that influence is not left to chance. It is constructed as deliberately as an architect designs a cathedral. Just as stone by stone a building rises, gesture by gesture a personality emerges. To the untrained eye, it seems effortless, as though these individuals were simply born to command. But beneath the surface lies an invisible architecture, one carefully crafted and consistently reinforced. The silent architecture of authority begins with an understanding of how human beings unconsciously respond to order and structure. When someone enters a room with deliberate pacing, with posture that reflects stability, and with a gaze that neither pleads nor seeks approval, they immediately shift the psychological landscape. People sense it. They feel the invisible lines of structure being drawn. Others may not know why they suddenly feel smaller, quieter, or more attentive. But the truth is that presence creates an unspoken hierarchy. It reorganizes the space without words. Imagine a cathedral or an ancient fortress. You do not need someone to explain its significance. The design itself commands silence and reverence. The height of the ceilings, the strength of the walls, the patterns carved into stone, these are not random. They are intentional choices designed to provoke awe. In the same way, powerful individuals create a design within themselves. Their movements are precise, their words economical, their silence is meaningful. Each element contributes to the architecture of how others experience them. The key lies not in superficial theatrics, but in invisible alignment. Powerful people construct their authority by aligning their inner state with their outward expression. If they feel uncertainty, they do not let it leak through uncontrolled fidgeting or nervous laughter. If they feel anger, it is contained, refined, and expressed in a way that serves their intent rather than sabotages it. This ability to systemize one's inner state is the foundation stone of the architecture. Without it, presence crumbles like a building made of sand. Furthermore, this architecture is not static. Like an evolving structure, it requires ongoing refinement. Powerful individuals are constantly adjusting how they are perceived, not through desperation but through mastery. They understand that presence is dynamic. One must know when to project warmth, and when to radiate distance, when to dominate with silence, and when to strike with words. It is a system, not an improvisation. What makes this architecture silent is that most people never notice it being built. They only feel its effects. They cannot see the countless small choices, the decision to pause rather than rush, the restraint from explaining too much, the cultivated patience that fills the room like heavy air. Each decision is a brick placed carefully into the unseen cathedral of influence. Over time, these choices accumulate into something unshakable, something that radiates far beyond the individual's immediate presence. This structure also carries with it a profound psychological weight. Those who stand before it sense stability, as though they are in the presence of something larger than themselves. This feeling is not created by physical size or even by social status. It is born of design. A person who has systemized their presence is not reacting to the environment but shaping it. They are not waiting to be noticed. They make others notice by simply existing in alignment with their constructed architecture. To understand this on a deeper level, consider how uncertainty weakens presence. When someone enters a room unsure of themselves, their energy disperses. Their body gives mixed signals, their voice lacks conviction, and their gaze wanders. People sense the cracks in the architecture. It is as though the walls of the cathedral were poorly built, unable to inspire reverence. Contrast this with the individual who enters with intentional calm, with grounded stillness, with eyes that rest where they choose. That person creates an unshakable design that others cannot ignore. The silent architecture of authority is therefore not about loudness, aggression, or forced dominance. It is about the mastery of structure, both internal and external. It is the deliberate shaping of self into something others must acknowledge. It is the systemization of presence, so precise that one does not need to demand respect. Respect is evoked naturally, like awe before an ancient monument. It is a slow, steady construction, and those who commit to it eventually become immovable pillars in any environment they enter. Authority is not established in a single gesture or a single moment of brilliance. It is accumulated over time through consistency. Human beings are wired to seek patterns. We instinctively trust what we can predict. A person who appears one way today and entirely different tomorrow creates unease, even if their sudden shifts are impressive in isolation. True presence is not about occasional intensity. It is about the steady rhythm of behavior that gradually imprints itself upon others. Consistency is what transforms passing impressions into enduring psychological weight. When someone carries themselves with the same posture, tone, and composure across different settings, they project reliability. The people around them begin to unconsciously calculate that this person will react in a certain way, regardless of circumstance. This predictability becomes a form of strength, because in a world filled with uncertainty, stability is rare and therefore valuable. Others feel grounded in the presence of such an individual, as though their energy provides a fixed point in an otherwise shifting environment. Consider the laws of nature. The sun rises and sets with unwavering regularity. The tides move in and out, bound by rhythms older than human memory. These patterns create trust. Life organizes itself around them. In the same way, the consistency of a person's presence allows others to orient themselves. They become the reliable rhythm in a chaotic world, the steady pulse that draws attention not through force, but through repetition. This is why powerful people do not merely act with strength once. They systemize it into every movement, every silence, every response. Consistency also amplifies authority because it builds reputation. If someone reacts with calm strength in one situation, it may be admired. If they do it again and again, over months and years, they acquire an identity. They are no longer merely an individual, they are a symbol. People do not remember the details of each action, but rather the pattern it forms. Over time, the reputation takes on a life of its own, creating psychological weight that lingers even in their absence. This is why inconsistency weakens presence. A person who one day commands respect and the next day crumbles under pressure sends a message that their strength cannot be relied upon. Even if they are brilliant, their unpredictability diminishes trust. Others may admire their flashes of power, but will not lean on them, because the foundation feels unstable. In contrast, those who maintain their structure, no matter the circumstance, become immovable in the minds of others. Their influence grows because people know they will not shift with the winds. There is also a deeper psychological mechanism at play. Consistency does not only affect how others perceive us, it shapes how we perceive ourselves. Each time we repeat a behavior, we reinforce an identity. A man who responds with discipline to frustration once has done a commendable thing. A man who does it 100 times has built discipline into his very being. Repetition crystallizes qualities into character. It transforms effort into essence. Presence is therefore not a mask worn in certain moments, but a system reinforced day after day until it becomes second nature. Powerful individuals understand this and guard their consistency carefully. They do not allow emotions to dictate wild swings in their conduct. They do not betray their architecture with sudden lapses in self-mastery. Even when storms rage within, they present the same exterior. This is not repression, but refinement, a deliberate choice to protect the integrity of their presence. They know that every inconsistent seed chips away at the weight they have built, like cracks spreading in a stone pillar. Consistency also creates rhythm in communication. The steady cadence of speech, the reliable control of tone, and the habitual use of silence become signatures that others learn to expect. These patterns make their words feel heavier because they are not scattered, but delivered with the same precision each time. Listeners unconsciously prepare themselves to be impacted because the rhythm has trained them to expect significance. In this way, consistency transforms even the simplest statements into pronouncements that carry weight beyond their literal meaning. Furthermore, consistency magnifies scarcity. When someone shows up with the same composure in every situation, their rare deviations become more powerful. A single raised voice, a sudden burst of intensity, or a sharp word becomes magnified precisely because it breaks the established pattern. Without consistency, such actions would blend into noise. With consistency, they strike like thunder after a long silence. The weight of presence, therefore, lies not only in what is repeated, but also in how the occasional break in rhythm shocks others into deeper attention. The psychological weight born from consistency is subtle but inescapable. It is not something people consciously analyze, but something they feel. They may not know why they instinctively trust, respect, or fear someone, but the answer lies in the repetition they have witnessed. Over time, consistency builds a kind of gravity. Just as the Earth holds everything within its pull, because of its steady mass, a consistent individual draws others into orbit. Their presence acquires density, and density always exerts influence. Powerful people do not scatter themselves. They understand that presence is not an endless resource, but a force that grows in intensity when directed with precision. Most individuals expend their energy everywhere, chasing approval, responding to every distraction, giving pieces of themselves to situations and people who neither value nor deserve it. This dilution weakens them. Their presence becomes thin, stretched, and forgettable. In contrast, those who systemize their power treat energy like a ritual. They decide with careful calculation where it should flow, when it should be withdrawn, and to whom it should be offered. The ritual of energy placement begins with awareness. One cannot control what one does not observe. Ordinary people leak energy unconsciously. They speak when silence would serve them better. They argue over trivial matters. They become emotionally entangled in situations that do not shape their destiny. Each of these small leaks reduces the force of their presence. The powerful notice these leaks and close them. They recognize that every gesture, every word, and every reaction either strengthens or diminishes the architecture of authority they are building. By becoming aware of their expenditure, they regain control over the field they project. What makes their presence magnetic is not that they are always available, but that they are not. They understand that scarcity multiplies value. A king does not walk the marketplace daily, chatting with everyone. His appearances are deliberate, limited, and therefore unforgettable. In the same way, powerful people restrict their exposure. They know that if they are constantly seen, constantly heard, and constantly engaged, their presence will lose its edge. But when they choose the precise moment to reveal themselves, the weight of their energy strikes deeply. Their absence, too, becomes part of the system, silence and withdrawal serving as tools as powerful as words and actions. This ritual also extends to emotional energy. The powerful do not allow others to provoke them into wasting their strength on unworthy battles. They know that anger, fear, or even excitement, when directed aimlessly, drains the very essence of influence. Instead, they channel emotions into purposeful expression. When they choose to be angry, it is not a loss of control, but a weapon sharpened and used with intention. When they show kindness, it is not reckless generosity, but targeted investment. Their emotions, like their words, are placed with precision, never wasted. Over time, this ritual creates an aura. People sense that every action of such an individual carries meaning. A simple nod feels heavier, a brief silence feels charged, and a single glance commands more attention than a flood of speech from others. This is not magic but mathematics. The less energy is wasted, the more concentrated it becomes. Like water carved into a narrow stream, presence grows stronger the more it is contained. The ritual of energy placement also determines relationships. The powerful are not surrounded by everyone, but by chosen few. They do not allow constant access because access is the very currency of presence. Those who are near them understand that this access is earned and therefore it is treasured. When such individuals speak, their words echo longer because they are not diluted by endless chatter. When they give attention, it feels like light cast on a shadowed figure, rare, transformative, unforgettable. This systemization of energy also protects them from exhaustion. Many people rise briefly in influence, only to collapse under the weight of constant demands. They confuse availability with importance. The powerful avoid this trap by ritualizing their output. They preserve energy through solitude, reflection, and deliberate withdrawal. They know that in order to maintain a commanding presence in public, they must first recharge in private. This balance between visibility and invisibility, between expression and silence, is what sustains their influence for years rather than moments. The ritual extends beyond people and emotions to time itself. Powerful individuals are deliberate about where their hours go. They understand that time and energy are inseparable, and by wasting one, they inevitably weaken the other. They carve out their days with the same precision that they carve their presence, eliminating trivialities that pull them away from their greater purpose. This disciplined placement of time ensures that when they do appear, they appear whole, focused, and unshakable. Perhaps the most striking feature of this ritual is how it alters perception. Others begin to feel that the powerful are larger than life, as though they carry more weight than the average person. In reality, they simply carry themselves without waste. Every step is chosen, every word measured, every interaction purposeful. This creates the illusion of an endless reservoir of power, but the truth is that it is not endless. It is simply managed with such precision that it appears inexhaustible. Through the ritual of energy placement, presence becomes something sacred. It is not poured out indiscriminately, but offered in moments that matter. It is not given to everyone, but reserved for those situations that shape destiny. It is not stretched thin, but condensed until it becomes undeniable. This is why powerful people can say less and mean more, appear less and be remembered more, invest less outwardly yet radiate more profoundly. Their presence is not scattered dust in the air, but solid stone placed carefully, ritualistically, until the structure of influence becomes unshakable. There is a subtle, but undeniable quality that distinguishes powerful individuals from the ordinary. They are never fully available, never entirely known, never completely understood. Their presence carries with it an invisible distance, a sense that there is always more hidden than revealed. This is not an accident, but a deliberate system. The aura of separation and mystery is one of the most profound tools of influence, and it is built through careful control of what is shown and what is withheld. Most people try to be understood in their entirety. They spill their thoughts into conversations, expose their emotions at the slightest provocation, and reveal every detail of their lives in the hope of being accepted. Yet, the more they reveal, the less valuable they become in the eyes of others. Familiarity breeds not only comfort but also diminishment. When someone is fully exposed, they lose their intrigue. Their presence, no matter how initially powerful, becomes ordinary, predictable, and easily dismissed. The powerful avoid this trap by systemizing separation. They create layers around themselves, boundaries that cannot be crossed without intention. They reveal only fragments of their inner world, leaving the rest shrouded. Their words are chosen carefully, their expressions calculated, their silences deliberate. People are left wondering, what are they thinking? What are they planning? What lies behind their composure? This uncertainty magnifies their presence. The mind fills the gaps with speculation, and speculation always enlarges the figure at the center. Mystery is not emptiness, it is fullness hidden. It is the suggestion of depth that others cannot fully measure. When someone withholds certain aspects of themselves, they create the impression that there is always more beneath the surface. Just as a mountain partly covered in mist feels more majestic than one seen in its entirety, the aura of mystery makes individuals feel larger, greater, and beyond reach. It is not deception but restraint, a refusal to be consumed entirely by others. This aura of separation also protects their inner world. Powerful people understand that constant exposure drains authority. If others know every weakness, every insecurity, every unfiltered thought, they lose their leverage. Instead, they show only what serves their purpose. They may allow glimpses of vulnerability, but never in ways that weaken their structure. They may share aspects of their life, but never in ways that strip them of privacy. The line between what is offered and what is kept becomes sacred. By guarding their inner territory, they preserve the weight of their presence. Separation also creates hierarchy. When someone is not easily accessible, they rise in perceived value. Just as scarce resources become more desirable, so too does the person who withholds themselves. People lean forward to grasp what is withheld, investing more energy in seeking what they cannot easily obtain. In this way, mystery becomes a magnet. It draws attention without effort, creating fascination without pursuit. The aura of separation makes others come closer, but never close enough to dissolve the intrigue. This system of distance is not coldness, nor is it cruelty. It is an artful use of space. Too much closeness breeds contempt, but measured distance sustains respect. The powerful know how to balance presence and absence, How to step into the light just enough to be seen yet withdraw enough to remain beyond reach. Their aura is like a painting partly hidden in shadow. The revealed portion captivates, but the unseen portion compels the imagination, making the whole greater than its parts. The mystery also heightens their words and actions. When someone rarely speaks about themselves, every sentence carries weight. When someone seldom reveals emotion, every gesture becomes significant. The restraint amplifies the meaning of what little is shared. Ordinary people weaken their presence by overexposure, while powerful individuals strengthen theirs through rationed revelation. Each glimpse feels intentional. Each disclosure feels precious. Each act feels unforgettable. In human psychology, what is scarce is valuable, and what is unknown is powerful. This is why myths and legends surround figures who remain partially hidden, why leaders who preserve separation are remembered long after they are gone, and why those who reveal everything are quickly forgotten. Mystery is not simply an ornament, it is the very structure that transforms presence into something larger than life. It allows individuals to exist not only in the physical world, but also in the imagination of others, where their influence multiplies. The aura of separation and mystery, therefore, is not a mask to hide behind, but a deliberate boundary that creates depth. It is the refusal to let the world consume the entirety of one's being. It is the conscious decision to show just enough to command attention, while concealing enough to maintain intrigue. It is the distance that forces others to lean in closer, the silence that makes every word echo louder, and the restraint that transforms presence into something timeless. Presence is not an accident, nor is it the gift of a chosen few. It is a system, a deliberate architecture that powerful individuals construct piece by piece. Authority begins with the silent design of how one carries themselves, for presence is felt before it is spoken. It deepens through consistency, the steady rhythm that transforms fleeting impressions into psychological weight. It sharpens through the ritual of energy placement, the careful control of where one's force is given and where it is withheld. And it endures through the aura of separation and mystery, the restraint that ensures intrigue never fades into familiarity. To systemize one's presence is to rise above the ordinary noise of the world. It is to build a structure others cannot ignore, a gravity they cannot escape, and a rhythm they unconsciously trust. Those who master this system are not merely noticed, they are remembered. Their presence lingers, shapes environments, and continues to command respect long after they have left the room. Worthful people use to structure how they are seen, felt, and remembered.